would you want a man that didn't know how to take the initiative?
Well, no one wants someone like that. No, I'm just saying, like,
No, I love that, honestly.
you need someone who's going to take initiative in their own life first, and then in the relationship. So,
Excellent. Now, let's say you made it big, right? And you get a big contract, and men start looking at you and considering your money when they are thinking about dating you. Would that be something that would like make you happy, or would that be like a turn off?
listen, nobody can consider my money. It's my money, okay? So,
Gotcha.
that's how I answer that.
Yo, what it do? This is AD. This is another episode of the Other Guys Podcast. Your favorite podcaster's favorite podcaster. Today we are your hosts, AD.
E-Shot.
Cold tail.
Spoon.
Yes, sir. All right, so let's jump into it. The question today, last time we did a little dictatorship style, and I think I liked it. It kind of ruffled some feathers.
Yeah.
The question today is, does a woman's money matter? Right? And I'm assuming it's in the context of a relationship, since that's usually how we talk about. So who wants to start first? Who wants to give their opinion?
I'll throw my opinion. I'm going to say, for the most part, no, does not matter. I think, well, you know me, I like the nuance in between. And I'm actually going to reference, so there's some of my friends, I asked them questions, they surprised me with some of their answers. So overall, I'm going to say more, if I had to pick one, I'd say no, but there are some aspects to consider. I'll kind of dish it out as we go along, though.
What about you, Spoon?
You know what? First instinct, no, right? Because it doesn't matter to me. But yes, because it does matter, it seems to have a direct correlation to her personality. So,
That is true. That's true. That's true.
It's something you got to consider.
I would say, again, no initially. But I mean, I could see there being positives, but I don't see that very often. You know what I'm saying? Like a woman spending money on, a man, she might be talking to several guys, but she's probably spending money on one. And unless you're that one guy, I don't think her money matters. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I think, you want to make, so if you meet a 27-year-old who just like going house to house, you're like, I'm not talking to this person because she's just not stable. So you want her to be able to be stable. If she lived at her parents' house, that would be fine for me. But if you like going house to house, if you don't have a car and all of
She
this,
ain't
kind
going
of
house to house for free. She paying somehow.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that's true. But does it help with the attraction? No, we're not going to consider that.
Yeah.
When do I want this woman to be my wife, lady, girlfriend? It's not there.
Would that change if you were a man of lower status or earnings? Like if you were making $40,000 a year, would her money still have no attractiveness to you?
When I did make less money, I did want someone that made.
I was the same way. Yeah, it sounds like the whole power couple thing. It sounds like a good idea. Then
and what I found is like I met a girl. I'm like, hey, you know what? This is what I want to do. I don't have time to waste. I'm looking for somebody who can build a business with me. This and this and that. And what she did, she sent me a picture of her check stub. I make money. I was like, cool, let's talk. And
so she sent it as hey, like I can do this. Yes,
I
I
can
qualify.
do it.
Okay,
I like that. And then she sent it.
That's not what you thought. Is that what you thought when he said she sent the checks up? I thought it was more derogatory.
I thought it was something like,
you know who you
Yeah.
talking to?
I got money.
No,
I don't need no man.
Yeah.
She sent it and she made like something like $41,000 a year, and I was like, cool, I could work with that. I never saw a penny. Never invested.
How long was that relationship?
That was we were talking on and off kind of for 2 years, and she lived with me at one point.
And you're saying she didn't spend a dime on you?
No.
She didn't invest a dollar in the business?
Nothing. She didn't put anything anywhere. She had her own thing.
Hey, if a man did that, what would he be called? It's a man who strings a woman along, who selfish or interesting, bro.
Yeah, so
but yeah.
So I used to look for that, and it never panned out. Even one time, I I was like, okay, you know what? I want to start this business. I'm working. I only make $15 an hour. I can't do X, Y, Z. I got credit card debt. I got this. I got that. So I was like, you know what? Talking to the lady, I was like, you know what? Let's get a roommate. And so we met a young lady, and she lived in Georgia. She lived in ATL. She wanted to come down to Dallas. She wanted to come down to Dallas because she wanted more opportunity. So you're like, cool, you know what? This is not even for a romantic relationship. Of course, we just, hey, well, you come down here and then we'll help you get established, help you get a job, get you back and forth to work, and then we can do X, Y, Z. She's like, yeah, I want to start a business too. Didn't see a penny. As soon as we got her established, she was like, oh, gosh, I got my money.
Bro, I don't want to give your age away, but you've lived several lifetimes. Like just every story is like, you did what, and then with who?
And so it has never worked out. Even with my lady, I'm like, hey, let's. I came to the conclusion. I'm like, you know what? You just keep your money over there, okay?
Because you're gonna do it anyway.
You're gonna just keep your money over there, and then that way I can do better planning with my own. Because when we mix them together, you just spend more. And so if you could just spend yours, and then I could just invest mine, we'll actually get further. So just keep your money over there, please.
You know what though? I would appreciate. It's not about earning. Yeah, you ain't gonna see nothing anyway, so it don't matter, right? But I would appreciate like some financial aptitude, like someone being good with money.
Yes.
Meaning not spending it all.
Right. Or just don't be bad with it.
Yeah.
So I don't want
at
you
that
to
point
be
she's a
bad
liability.
with it. Yeah, you're a liability.
Exactly.
And you kind of jeopardize anything we do gain. So if you're
So that's not considered money. That's just that. So you ain't got to have money to spend a whole lot of money. You know what I'm saying? So if the question is, does a woman's money matter? That's a different question than does her financial aptitude matter?
Yeah.
It's kind of related.
She's gonna have your lady's gonna have some sort of access to your money, and so you want her to be pretty good about it because you could just get. I know plenty of men who get hit with big credit card bills, and some ladies will say this, and this is
we have to talk. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, because it hits you like men who have women who spend a lot of money get a little bit motivated to make more money. Because they got to pay off the card. It has happened. It happened in my personal experience with me. My brother the same way. He like, dang, man, I got to pay these. I got to go make some more money. Then you're like, well, could you stop spending it so I could do something else with it besides pay off credit cards? But the money that she makes, when I made less, I wanted to consider that. Ladies don't like it. First off, he say, my mother gave one of my sisters some advice. That hey, if a guy who said something about her needing to work. Hey, she said, hey, oh man, I need to buy this or buy that, and he's like, somebody needs a job. My mom's like, yeah, cut that off. And I was like, yeah, I mean, damn it, that makes a lot of sense. You want a man that's going to be a provider. Every lady wants that, and the guy like what I was doing before was not the best. I didn't come in a position of strength, and then I didn't get respect because of that.
Yeah. You almost can't even be mad about that.
You can't. So I'm not upset with him. I look back and I was like, oh, okay, I was learning hard lessons. I was learning them the wrong way. I was spending a whole bunch of money and a whole bunch of time. And I wish somebody could have told me, hey, dude, ladies' money doesn't matter because it's not yours. You're not going to get it.
You know what's funny? That's why I always think, or I think it generally works better if you always enter in a position of strength, right? Because life is going to you're going to be ups and downs, right? Because, before that period, maybe you had a period where you were doing better or whatever. But if you meet somebody in that valley, that's not what you want to do. You got to be from because I know a friend who's gone through like that in his marriage. But in the beginning, he was very much so the caretaker, taking care of all the bills, right, and kind of like establishing that format, so that when to get her on her feet and start her business, she wanted to start a business. She started a business. It proved to be pretty successful. And so he was leaving work to go start a business. So the tables kind of turned, right? So she had the successful
He wouldn't have
business.
been able to do that had he not came in
the right way. So that now that everybody's kind of repositioned, things have kind of grown for both of them. That dynamic stayed the same. So it didn't, it had something to reference that was good. So
Yeah.
Going
It's
back
almost
to
like he had to prove himself.
right,
I was gonna say going back to kind of I brought up, and I think you were kind of talking about Spoon, like with the kind of the correlation with the character. I think that's one thing to look at. And so So my experience, I've most of the women I've dated were very intelligent. Well, one of them, she had.
Except this one.
What up? One is stupid.
But no, most of them had like either already had 2 degrees or were working on their 2nd degree. One of them came from a very wealthy family, and like she didn't mind like paying for like dates and like this and that, and because she liked expensive shit. Like that's just how she operated. But she didn't mind. Well, one, because it wasn't her money. She didn't earn like most of that
money.
anyway.
Yeah.
She's from a different standard of living.
Yeah. But I say all that to say, like, a lot of women I date who like manage money well and have money, they're like, they're not like, CEO, like, I don't need no man. Like, they're not like that, but they're just like, especially how that's really normalized in the modern day and age. Like, they have degrees, they're, taught to be financially dependent on their own. And so, like, the money never came up as a thing, but I know for their character, even in a situation where I was a provider for them, they wouldn't abuse that because they know how to manage money well because they have money and have had experiences managing it well on their own. And so that's that correlation. Like the money itself doesn't matter. If like they, if they worked at McDonald's or whatever, like, their money doesn't matter, but because they have experience with having money, their character, like how that affects their character is important for the relationship, which is kind of like we talked about before.
Like they're used to having money in the savings account.
Yeah, like
so
shit ain't new.
Yeah. All right. Let's jump in the video. Let's do it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Miss Tierra, how old are you?
I'm 30 years old.
30 years old.
Yes.
All right. What are the top 3 qualities that you want in a guy?
Confidence, ambition, and he has to love Jesus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, how do you feel about relationships right now? Are they going awesome? Are they suck?
I have a great relationship with myself and with my goals. That's what I'll say.
Okay. Okay.
Got it. So the main 3 points that I think a woman looks for in a man is consistency, reliability, and connection. So if you have those 3, I feel like they all back each other up, but it is the ability to show up, right? It's the always thinking and consideration, and then you have the reliability. It's, we were meant to be providers, or we at least are seen as a provider, as security, as foundation, like leadership. So that brings to the connection. I can't lead you if you don't follow.
That is a really good question. So I'll say honesty, someone who's confident in themselves, and ambition. Yeah.
Good. What are the worst 3 qualities a man can have?
Worst 3 qualities, I would say immaturity, a lack of self-awareness, and the inability to learn, like a hardness to new information.
Carnal, right? I think women think that men are very physical nature, that we are all we do is look at ass and titties, but whatever. But I don't know. I honestly, I don't know the bad qualities that we might have that they see in us, right? Maybe it is effeminate. A lot of men are effeminate.
What are the worst 3 qualities that a guy can have? You thought of that one.
Insecure.
Okay.
Anger issues. Just someone who doesn't understand their own emotions. Yeah.
You probably meet a lot of guys like that.
A couple.
Yeah. Now, would you want a man that didn't know how to take the initiative?
Well, no one wants someone like that. No, I'm just saying, like,
No, I
you
love
know,
that, honestly.
you need someone who's going to take initiative in their own life first, and then in the relationship. So,
Simple country boys. Right? Not good.
You know, not really my thing, you know.
So, would you want a man that didn't know how to take the initiative?
Would I want a man that didn't know? No, not at all.
Do you think if a man dated a woman because of her money, do you think a woman would find that he hears, oh yeah, she makes 60 a year, so that was one of the more attractive things? Do you think women would find that attractive, that a man is looking at her money, or unattractive?
To me, it seems unattractive. You know, and I would try to think, because we're talking about women, I have to think about another person's perspective.
Yeah.
But as a man, I'm a creator. Like, I create opportunities. So how much you make might reflect your mindset. It might reflect, you know, what you can do on your own, or how you listen to me, like, you know, if you can take direction. But other than that, nah, like, you should be able to tap in and be able to build on your own.
Yeah. Excellent. Now, let's say you made it big, right? And you know you get a big contract, and men start looking at you and considering your money when they are thinking about dating you. Would that be something that would like make you happy, or would that be like a turn off?
listen, nobody can consider my money. It's my money, okay? So, that's how I answer that.
So,
It's almost predatory, though,
pause
right?
it real quick.
Yeah.
So I forgot to tell you.
I say if a man wanted to date you
So you
because
can take it back just a few seconds. Now, anytime when it hits the logo, we'll pause.
Okay.
And, it's a
Oh,
5-second
okay.
pause.
I was like, he already paused it.
Yeah, but every
Talking
time
about the layout, we got that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's smart.
Oh yeah, that's Dez's idea. So.
Sir?
But yeah, so I
Wait,
mean,
1 second. Is there anything that we can do to increase the volume on the video from your end? I'm
Yeah,
sure you
it's
can
a-
work on it. Okay. Appreciate it. Okay,
appreciate
cool.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it. All right, got it. Okay. We'll figure
Yeah,
it
we
out.
just need a little bit because this
Yeah,
one's a
maybe
little
just
bit lower. Yeah, but yeah, she said it. She just like, nobody can consider my money. My money is my money, and that is just.
But could you imagine? I mean, so I'm sure a lot of guys feel that way, right? But could you imagine how they'd be perceived if they expressed it like that? Like, no
He's
woman is
stingy.
entitled
He's
to my
like,
money.
He's not generous. He's like-
And even if a man were to say, okay, that woman has a lot of money, ooh, I like that. I'm gonna go. It's almost, and I would never use this woman for a word for a woman to a man, but it almost seemed predatory. You know what I'm saying?
What you talking about?
Say
If a
it
man
Like, if
did
you
that-
only went after women with large sums of money or wealth, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
definitely a bad trait.
I would respect you less. I would have to.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, the thing, when women talk about partnerships and, I'll carry my way 50-50, what I always wanted to bring up, I just want to ask them, because they always want men who make a good amount of money and they value men who make more money more, right? So, okay, so try asking the lady this. He's like, no, I got my own, I'm independent, I can bring my own, I don't need nobody else. Okay, cool. So you meet a guy and he makes $150,000. Is that a plus? And they say, yeah. Now, how would a woman react if that man said, hey, we're in a 50-50 relationship, you're strong and independent, so whatever you make 40, you make 50, that's all I'm putting into the relationship, and the rest of that money is mine. So
If a man said that.
if a man did that, he make 150, but you only make 50. So
messy,
y'all living
yeah.
on a $100,000 lifestyle. You got to pay 50. He pay 50, and his 100,000. He's still living his life. He like, baby, I'm going to Fiji, and she's like, oh, I would love to go. He like, you got your half, or
Got your
he's like,
ticket?
yeah. He's like, no. He's
Damn.
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
shit, I did it
Oh,
wrong.
damn, that sucks. Like, I'm about to go buy
Right,
it.
right,
She
right.
driving the Kia.
There we go.
Man, favorite sound effect over there.
They would never accept that because the
Right.
man making more money, the benefit, the reason why it's attractive is because he's going to spend it on you. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
but if
for
a
sure.
man did that, so all that, hey, want equal and all of this stuff, dude, 50-50.
Don't nobody want to be equal.
No.
So I saw this video. I'm going to get the words wrong. It was a video someone sent me about Jordan Peterson, and one of his things, I forget what the first word was. Like, he's like, if you're going to choose a guy, like if a woman is choosing a guy for mating, I'm going to get the first word wrong, but it was like, you want a guy who's ambitious, and the second word was generous, because it's like, obviously you want him to go out there and be able to provide and everything, but you also want him to be generous enough to share it with you, because otherwise, what does it matter, right?
Yeah.
And so generosity is, I believe the world loves generous people, but in general, that is a trait that is more important for a man that like not so much for a woman, right? Like she can still get places even if she's much less generous than the average guy.
She has to be generous in different aspects, in different regards.
Yeah. I would say with what do you call them? Soft skills.
Yeah, soft skills.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
That's
just the willingness to smile. You know what I'm saying? Things like that.
A good way to put it is the things that make a man attractive, he needs to be generous with, or they're pointless. The things that make a woman attractive, she needs to be generous with, or they're pointless.
Right.
See, I think that'd be a good way to put it.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. It's oftentimes you'll see like it's more pleasant for your wife to talk to somebody or have certain relationships with like services or things, handling things around the house, right? Because she's just easier to talk to than you sometimes, right? Or she's just women are great at being pleasant to engage with sometimes.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
she's smiling. Yeah, I can take care of that. Don't worry about it. Like they can diffuse situations where a guy you might come off aggressive or something. You can kind of like I said, those soft skills are where they should be generous. So that's why when women aren't generous with those soft skills and you like keeping all that shit bottled up and you being
then their value goes
right.
down.
Yeah,
because you're not generous with your assets. So what does it matter? Just like the example
and
I
then
gave.
it becomes conditional femininity, where like, oh well, if a guy steps up, leads, and makes me feel safe, well then he unlocks the cheat code to me being generous with my generosity or my femininity or whatever.
Think about the release of short, because that the lady with the shorter hair at the end there, she mentioned something. Yeah, conditional femininity, and it's also they have the question of where does it start? When should I start being feminine with a guy? Like when should I start?
It just sounds like a dumb question, though, doesn't it?
It does, but even ladies who are like red pilled or whatnot, they're gonna have the same kind of questions. Well, I just can't submit to everybody. I'm like, well, you're okay. I'm like, well, that's not the case. You can, you have to, but there are certain limits. Like the first day on your job. Well, let's say you work a job. Doesn't matter if you're there for 10 years, and they say, okay, all right, today we're gonna rob a bank.
I mean, you can't.
You say no.
Yeah.
You say no. Right. Because it doesn't make sense, right? No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna rob a bank. I want you to embezzle this money from the company. You don't. But you work for that company. Anybody who works for a company is submitting to that company's rules.
If you got to be there at 9 a.m. and you show up at 9 a.m.
That's submission.
Yeah.
So I gave her the example. I'm like, even the guy's like, hey, you know what? I want you to put on a longer dress. That's submission. It's not you have to give him your body the first minute that you meet him. And he says, open up your bank account. It's like, no. It's like, think about it like this. That example I gave you last night. It's like, okay, the women want the security, but they don't want to do their part, right? So they step up, and it's like since they start at a job, like they want to start at a job and go, okay, well, I want the security, the protection, the provision, and I want everything that you can provide, but I want you to prove that you can lead first, so and that you can offer me security. So I'm gonna take about 2 paychecks, and then after I get 2 paychecks, I'll come into work. And then we'll check it out. We can see how things
after you prove that you have the ability to pay me,
because I don't know, y'all look like y'all got some money.
It's
like check don't bounce.
If you're gonna go in for the job, you have to go into the job,
right?
So you'll do more for a company you work for 5 years than you would for one day. But the submission starts right when you walk in there. You already have the dress code.
That's a good point.
A job deserves. It's kind of go back to the talk from the other week about certain things being deserved on day one, right?
Yeah,
because that job deserves a sense of professional. Before you even come in, they read the handbook and all that. You just know some things you just don't do. You know some things that you will do if they ask you to do something. Even during that first little process, or they just want to know more about it. You're not gonna be like, well, look, the clock is ticking. This counts as training. Like, bro, like, come on, run me that right now.
Exactly.
If you want the job, you are applying for it. You're giving information. You're willing to do a little bit of work to get it.
And it even starts just by not cutting a man off. Just letting the man speak is a form of submission, right? Because that conversation at the end, she got a little bit excited. So like I said, I'm going to release some of those in shorts. But the whole time, she just cut me off, and I'll pause. I let her say what she's going to say, respond. And while I'm responding, she cut me off again. And I'm like, well, that small thing, just letting somebody speak is a form of submit. Look, I submit the floor to you.
And
It's that simple.
I think one thing that's coming up for me, and I was trying to figure out the best way to word it, but two different, I don't know, factors, sets of factors, whatever that come into play with this is I wonder how much more, women who are like, oh, well, I gotta, I deserve this, but I'll see if I'm going to do my part depending on X, Y, and Z. I wonder how many of those women are more likely in their feminine versus their masculine.
They're most likely in their masculine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
there's that part because the thing that I've noticed, and I forgot who said it, but something that stuck out to me and I understand it just more and more through, and as far as how to explain it, is that you can't negotiate genuine desire. So trying to be in the space, and that's like on both ends. So if you look at for women who are in their feminine, because that's like, whether you're with a man or not, like you're either like more in that masculine energy or more in that feminine energy. So assuming they've already in their feminine energy, then all these other things of like, in what ways they'll invest into a man, it'll just come. Yeah, if they're genuinely desiring them, because it's a cognitive, rational, logical thought process to say, no, I'm not going to give X, Y, and Z to a man until this happens. And that's not it's, you have to think about and process. It's like your own selfishness comes before this natural process. And I would say even for a man, now men do it in, what most people would say stupid ways, but like if a man is generally attracted to a woman, even it's like simping, right? It's like they're attracted to them physically, but will like spend like money, basically kind of looking at a genuine desire that way in terms of like, oh, I see this woman, she's attractive, I'm going to voluntarily choose to spend money on them, with the equivalent being, women be like, oh, if I'm naturally attracted to them, I will give them, time, attention, all this other stuff. So basically just combining that aspect of, and I guess just focusing on women for this aspect, are they in their masculine or feminine energy? And two, is there a genuine desire there, or is it just like, well, I feel like I have to? And you get to that point of they're genuinely attracted, then he'll be more motivated to give the feminine.
I doubt that they do many things. Single women do many things because they feel like they have to. They don't even feel like a man shows up, maybe picks them up, takes them out, pays for a $300 dinner. They don't even feel obligated or like they have to do anything for that man. So I doubt that they are in that position often where they feel like they have to do anything.
Think about a woman who's like really deep and comfortable in her feminine space, right? Somebody who's probably somebody's wife, or she's just really comfortable with her relationship with men right now, right? Even if she has no romantic interest in you, she knows how to talk to you to make you feel nice. Right. She knows how to present herself to you, smile. She knows how to come and engage with her husband's friends, and she just knows the level of engagement to be a generally pleasant person. Yeah. Same works for man. If you're a man and you've been taking care of home and you are confident in your position, when you're around a group of women, they will feel it. They will feel the energy that this nigga been taking care of people all day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And they genuinely feel more comfortable, right? They will when somebody speaks, they will let you do the speaking, right? They understand that it's just a natural kind of order that kind of starts to fall in place when people kind of identify and are comfortable in those roles. So, and I see, you see it all the time when there's a woman who's like very like, I hate all these niggas around me. You know what I'm saying? that's 'cause she's been in a real masculine space for a long time, so she doesn't even engage.
Another point is usually the strong, independent type that lead with their money as well, right? Is you won't hear very feminine women say, "What do you bring to the table?" Oh, money. You don't hear that, right? Right. It's going to be the masculine women, and it's their money that they make that they're proud of. That's like it's not your money.
Yeah, I got my this, I got my that, I got all this.
Yeah, and they usually have a negative, which adds another layer. They usually have negative feelings towards men, meaning they're less likely to spend on men, which means it is your money matters even less. Right. Because if it was a very feminine woman who made a good amount of money, she'd probably take care of you. She probably, look, let me make you this, let me do that. You need help with this. Like when I met my lady, when I met the wife, it was 2 months afterwards. I was like, you know what? I was working this job. I was doing yellow page ads. I know that's
it's going to be all over.
Dating, I was silly, but I quit that job to go because this guy started a business. I wanted to jump in there. I wanted to go run it. I wanted to work with this guy. And it was 2 months after we started dating, and then this guy, he just like up and then just disappeared on me. So the checks and money just stopped, and I was like, "Crap, I can't pay my car note." And I didn't ask, I didn't say anything. He's like, "Why are you stressed out?" I was like, "Man, because I got these bills coming up, this and that, and this car note's coming out." She's like, "I'll pay that for you."
Oh wow!
It was the second month, and then she paid the car note. And I was like, you know what? You want to hang around for a bit?
So does that make you a beta male in your opinion?
I was definitely beta at the
Oh,
time.
okay.
But
interesting.
taking help from a lady doesn't make you.
I'd
Such.
agree.
But
I'd agree.
I would
I'd
say
agree.
it was very confusing. Some things I was very masculine, and the other things
You did say that.
That it was like it was. I talked to her about it a few months ago, and I was like, I had these really hard red lines. And then at other ones, it could just go forever. And I was like, that must have been confusing. She's like, yeah, I thought I could push you around and you would stop me randomly. It was very confusing.
Yeah, you can do that, but you better not do that,
She's
motherfucker.
like, where the hell did these rules come from?
Don't touch my butt.
Yeah.
That's how it was.
I don't know why that came to mind.
So it was confusing her.
It's delicate, and it's about what they spend their money on too. Because if it turns into too many car notes, it's gonna be a problem.
Oh
right?
yeah, it couldn't have been three.
But I've been with I was dating this chick. She had a little appears she had more disposable income than I did, at least the way she spent it. And so, but she would I could tell she was really comfortable with me, so she would get in a really feminine space. And so her gift giving was in the form of things I liked, like things that I wouldn't really do from not things that were needed or ever. And she always
She bought you a lot of alcohol. Every time I hang out with this guy, it's whiskey, right? You're a whiskey guy?
And very specific, very specific. I was really paying attention to what you said about these whiskeys and where you like them to be from. And so that type of gift giving, and still would be hey, we go out, pay for everything. You know what I'm saying? It still was that dynamic of
Interesting.
But it was at least reciprocated.
right.
In a sense,
It was
yeah.
reciprocated, but I think it's important that everybody has their lanes of what they do. That's what it makes people comfortable. If you know every time we go out for dinner that
Yeah.
I am the de facto payer of the bill, that's just that security.
Yeah.
Even though
That makes a lot of
though
sense.
I mean, that's
she
her role.
knows she can play, it's
Yeah,
just
it makes sense.
Yeah.
she
It makes
feels
life
good.
easier.
It's not an awkward moment when the waiter brings
Yeah.
it out. She's not worried about nothing.
Yeah.
But she still wants to express with the extra that she has. So she's she gets to do that and do these things I see you
Right.
missing that I want you to have because you should have them.
Yeah.
And so that keeps the dynamic cool. You know what I'm saying? We dissipated for other reasons, but that was a cool
Yeah, and
part
kind
of the
of
relationship.
stay in your lane.
You don't feel like you're being taken advantage of either.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want
That's
to
a
jump
good
in
test.
the video?
Yeah, we could jump
Let's
back
do
in.
it.
He saw you as strong and independent. And he was like, this is a good opportunity not to have to pay somebody bills to take care of him. If you knew that's his line of thinking, would that be attractive to you, or would that kind of push you away?
No, I mean, it's the exact opposite of the nature of a man. The nature of the man is to be a provider, a go-getter. So it's you're letting me do that. You're not even doing what comes natural to you, which is very weird.
Right. So you wouldn't date a man that was like, ooh, she got money. Like, oh, she just went to Dallas. She traveling. I need to.
Yeah, nah.
So if a man looked at you and he's like, she seems like the strong type, woman. He got her independence. So he saw that as an opportunity to spend less. Like, okay, when we go on date, she gonna cover her half. She gonna do this. So would that be a turn on to you or turn off to you?
Okay, I see what you're saying. I don't think that whoever I'm with, we're going to be having conversations like that because we both going to be on a level where it won't even matter. So,
Okay. But if a man did do that, would that be a guy that you would just not be interested in?
Yeah, I guess not.
Because he would be
I don't
paying the
think
bill
that.
because he has money. So, come on.
Yeah, even let's say if a guy lacked confidence in his decision. So if a guy wasn't confident, he was indecisive. Would that be something that would be a positive or a negative?
Well, it's negative in a relationship. You can't go anywhere if you don't know where you want to go. So,
Gotcha. So you think if a lot of ladies say they're strong and independent now, right? And if a man was like, cool, you're strong and independent, that's awesome. That means you can pay for your own date. This is your own part of this date, 50-50 on this date. Or you can pay half all the bills, go 50-50 with me on everything. You think women would find that attractive?
Happy birthday to
I appreciate you.
No. I mean, just off of historically, from what I've experienced, what I've seen, I see that the answer is no. I would go so far and be like, psh, you know what I'm I'm saying? If you can meet me halfway, then at least I know that you're like showing effort, you know, like as opposed to just expecting everything to come to you. But I don't know.
If a man lacked confidence in his decisions and he had to confer with his mother all the time, would that be a turn off?
It would be a turn off, but I would probably have some questions about their relationship. You know, how did we get here?
How did we get away? Okay.
Right.
So, would you ever want to be in a position where you have to raise a man?
No.
So, what was your longest relationship, and what was the best thing about it? How long was it, and what's the best thing about it?
I think the longest relationship I've had so far is 3 years, and it was the constant consistency, like getting to know someone over that time, like building a relationship and realizing that it's not temporary, you know?
Yeah.
Like we're building relationships to build a life. Like if we are together, we're sharing a life. No matter if you think it's like just being present, like you got to be able to be present with someone, you know? And I think that's what makes a great spouse, is someone that you can like always constantly be present, be in the moment, and move forward from there.
Would you ever want to be in a position where you have to raise a man?
No, no one wants to do that.
Please, no.
Nobody wants to do that.
Well, what's the longest relationship you've had, and what was the best part about it?
So it was about a year long. The best part of it is we did share some things in common, like music, so I enjoyed that.
The longest relationship I've been in was about 2 years. The best part, we kind of grew together. Like we were both in the transitional part of adulthood where you go from like younger adulthood to like real adulthood. We did that together, and we stayed together through that part. And so I think it showed a lot about our ability to be partners. So like even though it didn't work out, I know how to be a partner to a man as a wife when I get married, and I think he's prepared to be a partner to a woman when he gets to that point.
You know, because you can build a future out there.
Now, do you think women want to be in a position where they have to raise a man?
Not in a way, like not a grown man. You don't want to raise a grown man because that's going to take 18 years, 10 years, you know?
They didn't want to raise a spouse either, you think?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so they don't want to raise a man, and they see providing as a man as part of that. So if you got to pay for a man to, okay, well, I'm going to pay for you until you get a job. That's how they feel like I'm raising a man.
Jay, can we decrease the volume now a little bit? Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, so what did we learn from that segment just now? They don't want to be seen as targets for finances. They don't want to raise a man.
They don't want you to consider their finances. If you consider their finances when talking to women, it's unattractive.
That is most definitely not consider their finances.
Well, you can appreciate them and give them a pat on the back.
It's like a museum, but don't touch it. Don't touch my money
for sharing.
Yeah, hey, real talk though. Yeah.
So that's the Mona Lisa.
Or don't you even think that it is for providing the stability I require? I think it's still saying that I will still require stability.
Yeah.
I don't want to provide it.
Exactly. She said we won't be having conversations like that.
Yeah, don't use this to think that, oh, this is bonus points for that. Oh, this makes it, oh, she's on easy mode stability. No, she's saying I'm on hard mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would think that if somebody is well off, that providing for them should be easier. But what I'm getting from women is that the more money I have, the harder it is to provide for me.
So where those resources come from makes a difference. Meaning that if it's coming from the person providing, that's different than it's kind of like saying, okay, like a couple has, let's say maybe makes like $100,000, right? But like 90,000 of it is coming from the chick. That is not even though the couple has $100,000 to the chick, that's not it's very different if like the dude is the one who has $90,000.
Yeah,
so it's not the net financial amount.
Right?
Yeah.
Because like if she stops, then this all goes away. And that's not true security.
Yeah, and even just looking at ability to provide, because when we talk about, does the money matter? In general, it's kind of like not just the amount in the bank account at any given point in time. It's really the ability to produce the ability to provide money kind of on an ongoing basis.
Income.
Right?
Monthly
And
income.
Yeah. And so if she's like the main provider, then it's like she can't, it's like if you strip someone away from, the material things they have in that moment, or if they lose that job, do they have ability to kind of like start from scratch or whatever it is? And so even if like they have money the moment, she can't look at it and say, if shit hits the fan, you can't go out.
Those
and
are two different
reestablish
qualities.
security.
Yeah.
There's no respect there because it could go on, but you get the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she said, even like he was gonna pay. So even though we'll both be in a place where we're making money, that wouldn't even be a conversation.
Yeah.
But
he'll be paying.
Don't get it wrong. What is
Yeah,
yeah? She said it don't matter.
Yeah.
But it don't matter because I ain't paying it. That's what she's saying.
A lot of what we hear too that pops up is like, what I do is supplemental. I'm independent. I don't need a man. But what I do is just supplemental. It just should be to add to him.
But yeah.
And we hear that.
But in her defense, it does work better that way because if she is paying for something that needs to be paid for, it is only going to, or I feel like it's going to definitely detract from, if that's what she wants. If she wants traditional and she wants you to provide, anytime she provides, she's like marking a secret little note and just being like, Strike one. You know what I'm saying?
Keeping score. Keeping score.
It's up here, so they take every little
One check.
notch.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. So they definitely do. They keep it's more like I think it's more of a feeling when they have to. And then the longer they feel that, it just like takes a brick away from their stability wall or bridge.
Yeah.
It just takes one out, takes another one out until it gets wobbly. Like, I got to get out of here.
Because I feel like most responsible men, we don't feel that, right? We don't feel like when we have to do something that it like is a negative thing, right? We just used to having to do.
So I have a friend. This is women are gonna love this point. I have a good friend who is dating a guy on and off for like many years at this point, and he will like. Let her tell it. This is all allegedly. He will like spend money, or they'll go on a trip, and then after it's over, or during the trip, and he's upset, he'll say, "Well, I paid for da 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 da, and you only paid for this," and I'm upset about that. And so when a man does that, a man keeps score. Right, it
Petty.
is seen
Immature.
as petty,
Insecure.
insecure, right?
Small
And-
D energy.
Yeah, and but you know what though? And again, maybe this is just me being, a conservative guy who believes in that men should lead. Like, you should not do that. You should either don't provide and leave her the hell alone, or provide and shut up about it.
I tell ladies when I'm out there talking to them, you need to stop cutting men slack. You need to see if they can do what you need them to do. You can. It don't take a week to figure that out. It does not take a week to figure that out. Figure out if he can provide you what you need. If he can't, then you need to move on because you're just wasting your time.
Right.
100%. If a man can't provide, then why are you trying to marry him? Because that's part of his job.
So then, what do you mean by need? What is a reasonable need that a woman has?
The big five that I go through.
Okay.
So those are the needs that they have, and they need to be met. That's just biological. If they don't get that, they're gonna feel they're not ever gonna be able to be happy.
So it's almost like a man. I've heard people say a man should not marry a woman who he's not sexually attracted to. Right, because that is a need of his, and it's like she can have everything else, but like if that need is not being met, you're just setting yourself up for failure long term. So it's almost like one of those. So you mean biological needs? That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, biological needs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not I need a pair of red bottoms.
No,
not that. Okay,
absolutely not.
But I think more women who want to find a man that's going to provide, and look, they have to understand that a man that provides is going to provide at his level of provision. And so because it's like this trap, you get stuck in. So it's like that, earn more. They raise that standard of difficulty. And if I'm going to provide,
wait, you're saying when a woman earns more, or when a man earns more, she expects more?
Yeah, when she earns more, she expects more, right? Like we said a while ago, she's stepping up her difficulty, right? It is harder to provide for me because she's saying you have to provide this lifestyle for me,
right?
Versus provide the lifestyle that you can provide. You have to provide this one, and so that the problem comes in when you as a man, I look at it like this, right? You can make this more difficult, or I could just like it's more difficult to drive your car with the traction control off, but like. I don't want to do that all the time. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? To your point, that even strengthens the argument why, the study says men want women men prefer women all men of all ages prefer women, but somewhere between 18 and 21, 22, because they don't have any expectations yet. They haven't experienced anything. They're not in corporate. They don't have a high earning income. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You can take I swear I'll never forget this story. A good friend of mine from childhood, she was telling me about how her uncle, cousin, brother, some man in her family met a girl from overseas. She just was new to America, and he would take her on dates to McDonald's, and she would just be like, wow, this is nice.
Yeah.
Imagine you had a woman you can take to McDonald's. Well, you blow her mind, you take her to Chili's. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what though? That puts him in a state of providing.
Yeah.
So he can do it.
For sure.
And I understand that you want
Yeah,
nice
that's a
things,
good
but
point
it's
about
got to progress. You can't just be like, just because you spend ridiculous amounts of money on yourself and you spend your money that way, you can't like transfer those. Like,
Exactly.
I get to quit my life today because you're taking care of me now.
Because when a woman goes, I make $95,000 a year. Okay, you're living there for your one person. I would need to keep two people there. What would I need? 125 just to keep you at where you're living right now. You're a bigger bill. And for any ladies like, well, that's small D, that's in, you should be able to provide. Well, why don't you buy a car why don't you buy the most expensive Mercedes that's on the lot? Go spend more money just because.
Right, exactly.
Just go.
Yeah.
Just go. Just go
Yeah.
spend more money just for no reason.
Yeah.
Go see if you can afford yourself a Bentley.
No
Yeah.
reason.
Why? Just go do it. Because I could get something that looks just as good, someone that has just the same personality or the same values for half the goddamn cost. So if they are, if they use
Ain't got no sound effect for that. This man dropping
Right.
gin.
No, it is.
they make
Fucking up.
$50,000, I'm like, okay, I need to take care of a lady at
I just don't like how we're
$50,000.
reducing women to cars.
Women are not cars.
Well, I was giving them that example. If they
That's a nice car though. It's a nice car.
they have, wow.
I'll get up and walk out.
Wow.
Nice
I'm
car.
offended. I'm offended.
How dare you? There we go. I got a sound effect for that one, baby.
Yeah,
Where is that? Where
I think
is
the
that?
problem is, man, I think women want or when they think provide, they're like, he's supposed to pay my bills.
How dare you?
But no, providing means I pay the bills.
Oh, okay.
Not the ones that you've made for yourself these past 10 years. The bills that are important, the bills that we will all have, I'll pay those. The other shit you got to figure out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the necessities.
Like a guy who makes $50,000 a year that lives in a 1-bedroom apartment, if he met someone from a third world country that just came here, he could provide for her. They'd be happy. They'd be chilling. They would be. They could have a good life. They could have a good life. If she homeschooled the kids and they have to send them off, they could have 1 or 2 kids. Their kids would have to borrow to go to school, but they'd probably be the happiest people on the block. Well, maybe not buying the house at that. They'd be the happiest people in the apartment complex. Okay, but then we could have 2 people that are from this country making $60,000 a year and just argue about money all the time.
Yeah.
Because
I think the difference is the level of expectations.
the level of expectations, right? And since they're making this money, because people always talk about people in the 1% need to pay more taxes. And it's kind of funny. Everybody, I think it's like, dang, nearly if you make minimum wage in the U.S., I think you're in the 1% for the world.
Yes. It's a level of expectations and the lack of gratitude.
Yeah. Why do we both need a car? You know what I'm saying? Why do we don't both need a car? Well, maybe I just want to go drive to my friends an hour away on the weekend. So I need a man that can provide that life for me, and I want to travel the world.
Oh boy, that'd be that. That'd be
Yeah. And the other thing
important
is
to me. So
the other thing is you're looking at like even women who are like no, it's like okay, like lower. They're willing to lower that standard of living, right? It's because they see, and this is something I know you talk about a lot, AD. Is like they see the importance of investing into the family, right? It's not just like I have a family as long as it's like in addition to everything else I got going on. Like I need
they prioritize
to save.
the family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like I'll take it down because I see the importance of building this family and a happy family at that. So I can be submissive. I can have a lower standard of living. All of these things because the main goal isn't just me.
Right, because family is sacrifice. There's got to be some sacrifice on their part, even though you're more directly sacrificing your money. Yeah, it is so that you know what? Because I believe this is how it works. If I want a woman to live here with me and to be in this house,
exactly. I
need to make sure she's comfortable enough by providing her basic needs. But I think women got to take it upon themselves that if you have all these wants and these things, one, you have to wait. You have to wait for them to be presented because I'm focusing on needs right now. Or you have to go out there and get them yourself. That's what you can use.
I can do bad all by myself.
Yeah, you can.
So let me
That's what they would
throw
say,
this
right?
in.
Right.
It almost seems like, just if we're talking about regular gender roles, right, and what society expects of men who are husbands, right? It sounds like men are forced, like if you're going to marry a woman, you have to prioritize family, even if it's just you and her and you have no kids. But for a woman, it's optional to prioritize family, right? You
Actually negative.
Negative
Like, for them, the way they convey it.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, like if like today, if a woman said, "Yeah, I'm married. He takes care of the home, and I take care of the home and raise the kids, while he whatever," the sisterhood would then attack like, "Girl, why you don't want to do more?
So good.
You don't want to depend upon him."
You're
Yeah,
giving up so much. Yeah, it's so rewarding. Monday at 6 a.m. rush hour traffic, and I just don't know.
he said it's so rewarding.
I don't know how you don't do that, because when I get into that call center,
Yeah,
and I change lives.
Not the call center.
Because it's what it's like. That's what they. One thing that hit me real hard. I read this article, and it was about what was it? 10 things that men mistakenly blame women for the sexism or something like that. And
80 over here.
and
it's the title alone, which is like
one huge thing they talk about, and it just kind of makes me sick, is women do the most the unpaid work in the house. Women do the unpaid work. And those poor women, they have to cook for their own children. They have to clean their own houses. They do.
What was me if this motherfucker got responsibilities?
Yeah.
And
that's what.
But
the men, they get. I bet you. I guarantee you. If we took the services that the men provide, if we wanted somebody to go out and work,
Well, that should be expensive.
if we wanted to go out and work to give us money, I have those. They're called employees. They're expensive. I got to pay them. Then I got to pay taxes for paying them. Those folks ain't cheap. And then if I wanted somebody to protect the house, I have
Security
to hire
guard.
a bodyguard.
Yep.
That is a
Yeah.
service. This stuff
Yeah.
costs money. It's not seen as that. Women are just, perpetual victims in every sense of the word. Every aspect of their life is disadvantaged. Whether they have to work because men aren't stepping up, or they need to be independent because men are controlling. It doesn't matter which way you go. They are an absolute victim in every single corner, no matter.
yeah.
And I
Lack of
find the women that
accountability.
buy into that are the least happy
They are the least
long term.
They are the least happy, and I think
But how could you be a happy victim?
you can't be a happy victim. That's a good question.
You know what I'm saying?
Because for the most part, I feel like men of resources who have gotten the act of acquiring resources down, right? I wrote, right? I can figure it out. Don't have a problem with. They generally don't have a problem with naturally kind of taking care of things, right? It's just expectation of society, and I don't see most men freeing away from it, right? Most men ain't tripping about buying no drink, doing whatever.
It's just the way of life.
It's just a way of life, right? Now, there's that pool at the bottom, like anti-everything, or like leeches, guys who are seeking women for their money or to be taken care
So
of.
they ain't got to do shit, yeah.
Right. But I think it's a minority, right?
It might even be worse
It's
than
a
themselves.
minority. But I do think it has run
Race to the
rampant
bottom.
Black pill.
Yeah.
across a lot of women, though, of
Yeah.
this mentality of take everything and give what I feel like giving.
Yeah,
Oh, boy.
I think one thing that came to me is like when we look at how kind of like the how did we get here, right? I was kind of thinking of like how these value systems are layered, right? And so modern day and age women, normalized women have full-fledged careers or just careers, right? And so like setting that as the premise does so much for how you navigate all these other things. So one of the stereotypical pushbacks when talking about responsibilities women may have at home is that in a lot of modern families, right, both partners are working, right? And so if you're looking at, okay, both people are working, and then on top of that, the woman also has all these responsibilities and things at home, looking at it from just that angle, it would make sense that they would want the 50-50 thing, because it's like you have two things going on, the man just has one, which that in and of itself is fair, but the problem is you can't, when that's the starting point, it's hard to move any other direction, because if it's like, okay, you have to add on these household duties, okay, that's adding too much, it's not fair. If you try to step down to just household responsibilities, well, no, I want my own money because I'm taught to value that. But if you look at foundation,
There is no way to be happy.
And so if you start in the land, okay, the men and women are different, we're going to fulfill different roles, then it makes more sense. But as long as you have that foundational premise that this is what you're supposed to want and do, it's hard to peel back from that. And that's something I was thinking about in the construction of modern relationships and families.
I mean, a lot of you guys have done business, have had to make deals and make terms, right? You ever? What's the problem with the 50-50 agreement?
What if the other partner doesn't, like, they agree to it, but then they don't meet expectations?
Yeah, exactly. So for in business, right? Generally, if you have a 50-50 agreement, there's some type of clause on like a tiebreaker clause or whatever, right? Or some type of third party arbitration or something that happens in those cases, right? You don't necessarily got that in a relationship. So it's got to go 51-49 at least. So somebody has to
do more.
Yeah. Right. And in some department, you know what I'm saying? And got to kind of lead things through. Now, a 51 isn't a passing grade on the test. So if only one person's happy, that's a bad idea, right? So you got to consider the other person. But somebody's got to step up the plate on some things. Like, shit can't be 50-50. Somebody's got to be in charge of, if you do more of the housework, you in charge of keeping the house clean. You tell people how to clean the house. You set the rules and the standards.
You lead in this department.
You lead this
the
department.
department head of cleanliness.
If you were paying most of the bill, you are the finance. Even if there's some support needed for some things, but it's better if you just pay it all and figure out.
That goes to the one question which we haven't done that podcast yet, is what responsibilities do you have for a lifetime? Like, I might be the man, might have to may be able to step in and help, but you're the de facto leader. Like, this is, so it's a man typically, even if we start 50-50, I have to work or bring in an income for the rest of the relationship. You may have the correct. Yours is optional.
And that's a big difference.
Yeah, that's huge.
Video.
Yeah. One more point. When Spoon get the point in that pen, boy, he got something powerful to say.
If a woman dated a successful business owner, right, and that man made 10 times as much as she did, do you think most women would want that man to bring them up to his level?
Most women? No, I don't know. I don't know about that. I think most women, because of secularism, they probably would just be like, "Oh, I'm in now," you know. I watched the show, like the Martin series, and it was an episode about where Pam was about to get married into wealth, and it just showed like how, like she was in it for love, but there's no, like, she wasn't trying to learn the game, you know? It's really more so, okay, bet you got it, so I got it, we got it, as opposed to, okay, I want to know what you know. But I think today there are a lot more situations or examples where the relationship is a partnership and they build together. And I mean, that's what I look forward to. And it's just something that's a little bit more relevant now.
Yeah. Now, for the women who do want a man to bring them up to invest in them, I don't know if you've heard a lot about, women talking about how they want a man to invest in them and do these things. So for a woman that wants a man to bring her up to his level, education-wise or business-wise or anything like that, wouldn't that be considered raising a woman?
No, that would be considered raising money.
So if you dated somebody, let's say if you met a guy and he was successful in the industry and you seen, would you expect him to teach you, to help you, get further in your career?
I see relationships as you teach each other. So I would expect him to teach what he knows, and I'll teach him what I know.
And if it 100%, and if there's a guy, he's like that far ahead, he's he's big in there, and he's helping, and he builds you up that way, teaches you a lot. Could that be considered raising you?
No. Not at all. Helping people isn't raising them.
Well, what's the difference between you, like, let's say we talked about, asked you about raising the man. What's the difference between them, like somebody helping you because they have knowledge, and like with the common thing of having to raise a man?
It depends on how you're defining raise. Okay, like rearing a child? Or are you talking about exchanging ideas and exchanging knowledge? That's what a relationship is to me. So I don't.
But none of them will admit it. None of them will admit that it's okay. So first off, you know what? Let me give a round of applause for the haymaker that I knew was coming at the end. Okay, because that shit was great. I wish we had more.
Good punch there, Ishai.
Huh?
That's a good punch there, Ishai.
Yeah. I don't know why we don't have more, but I would have loved to hear that question asked. Oh, you know what? Because we were doing multiple questions that night.
We did.
We did multiple questions that night.
We have the other one, which is fire.
And then I'm pretty sure we got some more shorts that we can cut up. And boy,
I'm
that is a
excited
good
about
one.
Pookie and Ray Ray.
So then let's bring that question to the table that he just asked. If a woman gets with a man who is at a higher status overall, and she expects that, okay, he got it, so we got it, and she expects to be elevated too, would you guys consider that raising a woman?
In the same context that they talk about raising a man,
It
absolutely.
is elevating a woman, for sure.
Yeah,
Is that the same as...
The elevator I was in today raised me up to the 5th floor.
All right. Yeah. And here's the thing: men and women look at that very differently, right? They want to help each other with different things. I find some women are willing to educate a man emotionally, right? Or educate him on things that he doesn't understand. You know what I'm saying? I've seen, like, you know, relationship dynamics where the woman may have more like formal education or whatever, and she's like teaching him things that he didn't know. It's cool. What she don't want to help you do is help you get no money or help you with anything that she wants from you. She wants you to have all the things she wants. She wants to help you with the things that she wants. That makes sense.
To make you, like he's mentioned,
that makes sense.
She has more degrees. She's going to be maybe more sophisticated than you.
Yeah.
So she wants to bring up your level of sophistication.
Yeah.
Ladies will often want to improve your style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think they'll spend money on that and
They
time
want
on
to
that.
improve things that make you better for her.
For her.
Yeah,
They're
and
kind of. I think there's kind of selfish reasons behind it.
Of course.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
kind of what I wrote down is like I don't think it's the same in the sense that if a successful man like meets a woman who was like in some way income, you know, socioeconomic status, that kind of thing, like it'd be like, okay, it's kind of like inviting her into his world, and I think like they're both okay with that, right? Okay,
Yeah.
with him I have access to these opportunities, maybe these people, these resources, but I don't think on either end there's this expectation that, oh, I'll help you learn how to make money like me or do what I do or whatever. I think that's okay on both sides.
Yeah.
However, even in the situation where a woman is a high earner dealing with a man who doesn't make a lot, I think there'd still be some level of expectation, especially on her part, that, okay, I'm going to bring you up so you can get your own shit together. It's like, I'm going to bring the woman, the high earning woman may say, I'll bring you up so that you can have something going for yourself as well, versus a man, a high status man bringing a woman up isn't like, they're both okay with like, no, you're just here like with me. And it's not even like, oh, I want to allow you to have your own shit. It's just like, I have no problem sharing what I have, and you have no desire to learn how to do that on your own. And that's, I think, the difference in the raising there.
So I would say if we're looking at it just strictly apples to apples, yes, it's a fair comparison. Like, it is the same as raising a woman. However, I think the major difference would be, like, when you're saying raising a man, you're saying that he's insufficient in some areas, and I'm getting him to ground level. I'm getting him to where this is acceptable.
Yeah.
The actual equivalent for that to a woman is like, you take her maybe and she's just, let's just say she's low class, right? I know that class is very important to you, and like, it's like, yeah, you go out with me and I'm, you know, of a certain status. We go to country clubs, we go to nice dinners, and I need a trophy by my side. You might know how to twerk, but you're going to have to learn how to salsa, right? You're deficient in the areas in which I need you to be. So it would almost be like breaking a woman, if that makes sense, like a horse type of a thing. So,
don't compare them to cars, compare them to horses.
because horses have vaginas too.
So
Okay,
can I
It's a
compare
better
them
accurate-
to Mustang?
It's like a horse.
Okay.
What an asshole.
There you go.
Well, yeah, because like,
Yeah,
so it's,
wait, are you talking about the car or they talking about the horse?
the car.
Okay.
That makes sense though, because the thing, if you're saying for the areas we care about, are you saying the man is reluctant to do?
No, what I'm saying is the actual equivalent of a lady taking a Pookie and a Ray Ray and then, you know, elevating him financially, whatever. The equivalent to that to me is a man taking a woman and like the financial part, that's almost a given.
Right,
Like I have to be able to lead otherwise and provide, otherwise why are you here? But it's like we're here, but my trajectory is here, and you're not ready for that. I can't.
Right.
You got a bunch of tattoos, so I can't even take you where you like. I'm going there, but you may not. You don't even qualify to come. So there's things that I have to teach you that your mama didn't teach you.
So
that
like
your
Hood Rat the
grandma
Country
didn't teach
Club,
you.
yeah, that type
Exactly.
And the distinction I want to make in that is, it's a difference between a lady getting with a man who is sufficient financially and that can take care of her, and a woman the strong, independent women who would then want to take from his knowledge to build their own. There's a difference. There's women, okay, I can appreciate this man. He can provide for me. I'm going to do my feminine thing. Versus a woman like, he owned the business. I want to own the business.
I was
know
going
how
to
to
say
build
that
a
doesn't even
business.
sound attractive to me.
But this is what you'll hear. Like, I mean, if you've seen Fresh and Fit a ton of times, well, I want him to invest in me. That's what that means. Invest in me means I want him to
help me be in a better spot to lead you.
Yeah, because if you give me this money, I'll flip it and bring you back more. Like, well, where's that return now? Where's that money at now? I see it. You know, you couldn't flip your own money, but you want to flip mine. I've seen people trying to learn how to do backflips. It's bad, you know. So I'm not going to do that. But that is in the that's the regard that I'm speaking in. These ladies, they want you to come in and then show them how to make more money.
You know, yeah, that's a funny comparison because it's like women are good at trying to make men more attractive to them, and it seems like men generally make women less attractive when we do that. Like when we raise up a woman, like when you do what you just said.
Yes.
When you do what they're asking.
Right,
We
when you do
don't
what they're
ask
asking.
them for that. We like, here, you can work for me. You know what? Here's the house. You can chill. You don't got to work. And they be like, I want to work. But they don't want to stay at their job. If you making way more money, they want to be like, I want you to show me how to do something like what you do. That way, I don't need your ass, and I can start trying to talk to the old boy who make twice as much as you do.
And that's being a little maniacal to say I don't need your ass, but it is like I do want. It would make me feel more secure if I were to attach myself to you and add it to what you're doing. And some of them might be, you know, monkey branching, like I got another guy, but some of them might not. They might just, you know, decide, hey, this is the best I'm gonna get.
On the balance of probabilities, if you making $150,000 a year and then you show your lady how to do the exact same thing and she making the same thing, then she gonna lose respect for you. And you also lose leverage in the relationship.
That's true. I can see that.
And
I can see that.
And she's gonna be like, I'm doing this now. You know, I pay my own bills, and it's gonna be used against you.
I don't think that happens very often though.
Because
they don't even want to do that.
Yeah,
they would
sounds,
rather just benefit from you without having to do the work.
Right.
I was just gonna add that seems very foreign in a sense. Seems like those type of
Except
women
like
would
the rappers.
Be, yeah, like
rappers
like those. Even then, it seems like those types of women would be less likely to get into relationships to begin with because of they value the independence. But the ones who would be seeking after those high value men, they'd be more open to just being with them, like they're okay with that. So I mean, I'm sure it exists, but that seems like
That's a
rare
red
thing.
flag from this other trait.
Yeah.
But they'll come in, and I was Pink Book Lessons and had a story she put up
Shout
about
out to her.
a man and woman who did that same thing. They built up, and it was a couple of stories she had, but that's exactly what happened. I think she actually, I'm not even gonna say the end of that story, but that's basically what happened.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the guy who was with Primerica?
Yeah, that guy.
Bro, that was tragic.
It was tragic, man, but that's what happened. You might not
Got
seen
it.
that one.
Yeah. All right. So in summary, you had like a little country twang to it. So in summary, what do we learn today? Does a woman's money matter? From my perspective, they want their own money for whatever reason. It makes them feel good, right? But they want you to value the fact that they have money, but they don't want you to try to access any of their money because it's their money. But they do expect you to share yours.
Yeah.
Which sounds like the furthest fucking thing from equality that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I've ever heard. You know what I'm saying?
No, and I the short comment I'll say, that's the problem with a lot of modern values go against male nature and female nature. That's
I agree.
Why there's
They act like we're blank slates.
That's why there's that dissonance.
As if our nature is not a factor in how we make decisions throughout the day. Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, I do think it matters. I think it changes what she needs to be pleased because I think a lot of women are living the standard of men by the standard of themselves.
Yeah.
And what they do for themselves, so that just be prepared for, you know, a different kind of journey. If she makes a lot of money, obviously she wants you to make a lot of money and spend it on her too. So don't forget that second part, because that second part is the defining factor.
The whole time you were talking, all I could hear is equality.
Yeah.
And it's like with these. So does their money matter? They don't want you to consider it whenever you're figuring out if you're interested in them or not. Well, she makes a good amount of money, we'd be able to spend it. That's a no-no. It's unattractive. But they do want the kudos. They want the pat on the back. They want the good job. They also want you to say, they want that independence just in case that you mess up, they can leave. So like, you should, hey, listen, I got a way out of this relationship. I don't need your ass, and you need to congratulate me for doing that before I met you.
Yeah, and don't forget, she wants you to know how much money you need.
Yeah.
Because if she's letting you know how much money she has, or is implying it, she wants you to realize, hope you got more.
That's what she doing.
Hope you got enough of this.
That's what she doing. She taking this thing out.
Yeah.
Setting it on the table. Hey, I got this degree, I got that degree, I got this certification.
I like that museum metaphor. You're looking at something.
I'm glad that
you
was
just
a
can't
degree.
have.
I thought that was
I
like
appreciate that. So I got the coolest quote today. The museum.
I'll give you that.
the
You got
horse.
a metaphor too.
Okay.
I'll be dropping some metaphors, man. But you got the shit today.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, no homo, pause. But when you did like,
I thought it was a
I
dick.
thought it was a dick.
Hey, me
Like,
too.
put your dick away. Put your dick away.
No,
I was like, damn, it's
and I was
shaking
like,
the table, guys.
That's what she's saying. She's like, is your dick bigger than this?
yeah, exactly. That's exactly.
You
what
ain't
it was.
bigger than this.
You ain't got it.
Oh man.
So don't get your ass on.
So they don't want us. Yeah, they don't want us to consider it. So
Wow.
So it doesn't matter.
so it doesn't matter.
And yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it. Sounds like we came to a
It
consensus
doesn't
today.
matter.
And it was a big surprise.
It's crazy.
It blew my mind.
It's crazy. You know, the more and more we do this show, it sounds like I don't think they really want this equality thing they keep talking about.
That's nonsense.
I think they want to feel good.
Yeah.
I think they want to feel good.
They don't say true equality.
Yeah.
Maybe we can talk about that. What does equality mean? What is true
Right. I got some
equality?
things for that too.
Yeah.
This man's side, he's like, I ain't ready for that shit.
Yeah, because
I think opportunities should be equal. You should have the opportunities, but you don't want to be. You don't
but
want
even
the whole
even
thing.
then though, that's never going to be the same. Like, because if you get rich and you have kids, your kids are going to have opportunities that my poor kids don't. You know what I'm saying? So there's never even an equal.
I think it's like,
Well, it's one of those unachievable goals that you never
Yeah,
get.
but like, what
you stop it
direction
from
are you
go- stop it
pointed
from
in?
getting out of hand,
yeah,
right?
like what are we
Unachievable
aiming
goals.
towards?
Yeah,
at
like
least?
I think we just need to let people live, bro. Like we're gonna let
fuck
losers
does
be
that even
losers.
mean?
Meaning let losers lose, let winners win,
Yeah.
and stop trying to help people. Now, obviously, you still want to help some people, but like
But you just
for the
said-
most part,
To help those other people, you have to take from these people over here because you're not going to be able to do it through donations. You're going to have to
I
do
think
it through
that'll always be
taxation.
the case, though. But
all right, let's end this episode because
Yeah, we gonna
Jay
do a whole
got shit to
nother
do.
episode.
Absolutely. All right,
Right.
till next time. Other Guys Podcast.
guys,
Woo, woo.
podcast.
appreciate y'all.
Spitting flames out your speakers. Why you ever think to put me closer to your gears? Really, man, damn, you ain't even say that kid. Your tree was on fire. Why you think that it was lit? Yeah, so they think I'm making money when they looking at the car, considering my whip. Some ladies out here chase money till they sick. Never in the gym. How you figure they were fit? Yeah.